Multiple Oriole updates. Top prospect hurt. What does it mean for the team? And Sugano looking like gold. What does that mean for the Orioles as well? Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. So many updates on this Sunday brunch edition of the program. Sugano looking amazing, but why O's fans are going to be even more impressed. We're going to get to that. Gunnar Henderson in a slump. It's only been a couple days back. Should we be concerned? We will get to my thoughts on that. Samuel Basallo, an injury. How serious is it? What does it mean for the rest of the season? We'll talk about that. And a guy I've been praising for weeks, Brandon Young, has an amazing outing down on the farm, plus a trade. The Orioles make a trade with Kansas City mid-series. We're going to break it down as well. Again, like, subscribe, do all of the things. We have you covered all throughout this season, and it is early in the season so far, but today the Orioles go for the series win against Kansas City. But first, we're going to start with the good in this series, and part of the good has been this man, Tamayuki Sugano. Let me remind you, he's a two-time Sawamura Award winner. That's basically Japan's Cy Young. And what did he do recently? Now, remember I said about 6 weeks ago, he is the key to the starting rotation because we know what we're going to get out of Zach. Grayson's hurt. He has to step up. Sugano has to be as advertised for the Orioles to at least make it to the All-Star break and stay within striking distance. And what he did yesterday was exactly that. He looked every part of how good he looked in Japan over the past several seasons. 5 1/3, gave up a run on 5 hits, a walk, and 5 Ks. The numbers just by themselves are impressive. However, keep in mind, it was a very cold day in Kansas City as well, so the elements were against Sugano as well, but he mixed up his pitches. He looked outstanding. In fact, I think we have a piece of video that we can share of Sugano in one of his Ks. Let's see where it is. Here it is. Take a look at that. Oh my gosh. Just drops out of it. Look at it in slow motion as well against the lefty. That's so good. We're going to look again. And this is the Sugano that the Orioles acquired. This is your multiple-time Cy Young Award winner in Japan. So why should Orioles fans be excited about one isolated start? And I'll tell you why. It's what Sugano said after the game. So the Orioles, a bunch of the guys doused him in beer. A big celebration for his first major league victory. It was quite the scene. But then here's what Sugano said through an interpreter. He said, typically in Japan, the beer shower only happens during the championship, so I was really happy to get that treatment. It made me feel like I want to succeed even more. It made me feel like I want to succeed even more. And this is a guy, oh, where did he go? There he is. This is a guy who wants to win. This is a guy who feels like he has something to prove in the bigs, even though he's proven everything he could possibly prove overseas. He has something to prove. I expect an amazing season out of Sugano. And just think about it. Tell me in the comments if you disagree. Think about it. If he can give you 13 to 15 wins, and Zach Eflin can give you 13 to 15 wins, now all of a sudden, you're talking about a team who could potentially make a deep run. Because if you think about the postseason, pretend Grayson's back healthy, Kyle Bradish is back healthy, Tyler Wells is back healthy, and the Orioles bats are hitting the way that certainly they did in yesterday's game. The O's have been good in the wins. The bats are there. The bats are there. In the losses, obviously, we've had a lot of trouble scoring, but that's going to even itself out. And the Orioles are going to score 5, 6, 7 runs a game, And that's going to make this even that much more important. Now, speaking of scoring, yes, a tiny bit of concern. Gunnar is back. Now, keep in mind, and let's just put it out there, Gunnar is slumping in his first couple games back. He was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts on Saturday, which is, that's rare for Gunnar. That's a stat line that you're not going to see very often. But frankly, he didn't get a lot of reps in spring training because of the injury. So this is to be expected. It's going to take a little bit of time for Gunnar to get back. Now, the question becomes, will there be a lineup shakeup with Gunnar? I believe there will. I believe that you're going to see Gunnar get moved around the lineup so that he can get going. And he will get going. We know he will. But it could be some tough sledding around for the next week or two as he starts getting those reps, both at the plate and in the field as well. So we're talking about injuries now that we're on the bad news side of things. Samuel Basallo, top Orioles prospect, stud catcher, amazing hitter, is hurt. So he's on the IL, 7-day IL to start with left hamstring discomfort. I'm not going to speculate. We know what that could lead to. We're not going to speculate to that. So he is on the Tide 7-day injured list. Remember, he already had inflammation in his elbow, so this is now a second injury that he's contending with. Look, he's a young guy. He's he's a strong guy, a healthy guy. He's going to make it through these injuries. The question becomes, however, how long is he going to be out for? And what does it mean at the big league level? And I'll spell it out for you. You all know this too, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. The longer Basallo is out, the more it means he's not going to make his big league debut this year. The more important it is that both Adley and Gary Sanchez stay healthy. It's really as simple as that. We will monitor Basallo. Obviously, there's concern in the organization, but at this point, I think it's cautious optimism that Basallo is going to spend some time, rest, and come back strong. Speaking of coming back strong, I told you this at the beginning of spring training. Brandon Young, the righty at AAA right now, you're going to see him in the bigs very, very soon. And this guy can flat out throw. He's been a strikeout pitcher from the jump, and in his last start, he pitched 5 1/3, no hits. He walked a batter and struck out 8. In 11 1/3 innings this year, Brandon Young has yet to allow an earned run. Somebody tell me in the comments why Brandon Young isn't going to be the star that I believe he's going to be. I believe he's going to be a star. And finally, for the Orioles on this Sunday brunch, as we look at Sugano just absolutely killing it again. I just love that clip. I wanted to show it again. We end with just a very minor trade. The Orioles got some cash for Gordon. He signed a minor league deal with the Orioles over the winter. There's no room for him. You have Gunnar, you have Ramon Urias in the utility role. So the O's dealt Gordon to Kansas City for some cash. Again, lots of storylines to keep an eye on. We're going to cover it all here. This is Orioles Digest. I'm Jon Leiberman, and we'll see you soon.